welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking about my main babe, Queen Liz. I think the Queen of England is a joy. She's actually had to put up with a lot in her long life. That all being said, it hasn't all been olive groves and rose gardens. There's a darker side to the Queen and the royal family, and we're going to explore it as we discuss the top 10 scary Queen Elizabeth facts. Here to help me with this video, he's coming in a ball of flames. We have the scariest man in Great Britain, Jack Finch.
I mean, I am pretty scary though.
You are a
What's going
man.
on, guys? It's a pleasure to meet you all and share some screen time with my second favourite redhead, Miss Rebecca Felgate.
Second favourite, I'm aghast. So before I tell you who his first favourite redhead is, this is Jack from Top 5 Scary Videos. It's our sister channel and it is totally dedicated to all things spooky, haunting, ghostly. Am I right?
Very correct, yeah. And if you've got time, head over to Top 5 Scary Videos and give us a thumbs up. It'll be much appreciated.
You should go and subscribe. I think that's what they should do. Also, I'm going to be appearing on there with what I'm led to believe is your favourite redhead, Mr. Daniel Burke.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what you told me. That's what you told me. Yeah, actually, Jack and Danny go way back, longer than Danny and I, so we've got a friend, a spooky friend. Alright, so I'm going to let Jack start this list off, because I think, you know what? Do it, lads. Bye.
At number 10, we have the Lizard Conspiracy, Queen Elizabeth. This is one of the more tinfoil hat conspiracies I've heard in quite a long time, but yes, some people believe that Queen Elizabeth is indeed a lizard. Not only that, but apparently she isn't alone. She is one of many lizards, along with George W. Bush, Hillary Clinton, Bob Hope, Taylor Swift, and Beyonce. The whole thing came about from harebrained British conspiracist David Icke. Icke has decided that tall, blood-drinking, shape-shifting reptilian humanoids from the Alpha Draconis star system spawned on Earth, and their remaining relatives make up the influential ruling families, including the British monarchy. It seems he has garnered a fair following and often preaches to crowds of up to 6,000 people. According to a 2013 poll, 4% of Americans believe it too, so we're not alone in our craziness. Icke continues his theory by saying the snake in the Garden of Eden was not a snake, but one of these very reptilians.
Lizards! Queen Elizabeth. I like what you did there.
You wrote that,
I did. I really did. Laughing at my own jokes. Do you think the Queen's a lizard?
No.
No?
No, of course not.
Of course not. Not Queen
She's
Liz.
a beautiful woman.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Up next, she might be a beautiful woman, but boy does she know how to fire a gun. Liz! Who will defend Britain when the enemy is at our gates? Queenie baby, that's who. Honey is a badass. Get a load of this snap that was taken in 1993 at a shooting range in Surrey. Queen Elizabeth II is firing a battle rifle. This is an L85 to be precise. I googled that. I know nothing about guns. But Queen Liz does. Here's another picture of her firing a gun before she was coronated. Oh, and she doesn't even need a permit. Coming into number 8, her family may be cursed. The Queen's mother was a descendant of the Bowes-Lyon family. Her pre-marriage name was Elizabeth Angela Marguerite Bowes-Lyon, which really is all of the names. While she lived to the ripe old age of 101, her family are said to be suffering a lifelong curse. The curse is said to stem way back to the 15th century, where Alexander Lyon, the second Lord of Glamis, was said to have sold his soul to the devil. The home that he owned at the time, Glamis Castle, is still in the Bowes-Lyons family. The Queen's grandfather once even said that if the secrets of the castle were known to the public, people would get down to their hands and knees and thank God it didn't belong to them. What is going on? Perhaps the curse has carried on over. The Queen Mother lost her husband, King George, who died at the age of 51. Even young back in those days. The Queen is the only monarch to have seen all of her children divorce. Windsor Castle almost burnt down in 1992. Princess Diana famously died in very, very conspicuous circumstances in 1997. And the Queen lost her sister in 2002. Is it because of the curse?
Coming in at number 7, we have her ancestors were cannibals. It seems some 300 years ago, the British royal family ate human fat, skin, brains, blood and bone. Charles II used to make medicines out of corpses. Queen Mary was said to medicinally eat people, and there is some suggestion Queen Elizabeth I may have too. Creepily, when Charles I was executed, people collected and drank his blood. Anyway, it seems the practice of medical cannibalism died in the 1800s. 6, she is the only person who can send the UK to war. That is correct. In the United Kingdom, only the monarch can legally declare a war. While this is usually carried out by Parliament, it absolutely cannot happen without royal approval, the Queen's stamp. If the Queen wanted to declare war with America or France tomorrow, then in reality, she legally could.
What do I think to that? I mean, she would never declare war, would she? I think she's actually quite the pacifist.
Not with France.
Never with France. She loves France. What if we ever went to war with Scotland, though? Like, how would she feel?
Never. Balmoral.
Divided. Balmoral. That's how she'd feel.
There we go.
Balmoral. Coming in at number 5, a lot of her favourite homes are haunted. Now, the Queen loves Windsor Castle. It's a homelier castle than Buckingham Palace, which the royals reportedly hate. Nonetheless, Windsor Castle actually is supposed to be very, very, very haunted. It's been in the British royal family for generations. It was built by William the Conqueror in 1070, and it is reported to be haunted than none other than some of the former monarchs of England. Mad King George III is supposed to peer sadly through a window, which makes me feel a bit bad for him, even though he was mad. Charles I is said to haunt the grounds, and Queen Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen herself, is said to haunt the royal library. Her heels are clip-clopping on the floorboards, and people are getting freaked out. But they aren't the only ghosts. Prisoners and members of the royal staff also stalk the halls. Now the most famous ghost in resident is none other than King Henry VIII. He is said to drag his gouty leg and groan as he moves around the cloisters. I know that he's dead, but his reputation for taking ladies' heads precedes him, and I would give him a wide berth. I'm not sure that I'd fancy chilling at Windsor Castle among the 25 reported ghosts. Buckingham Palace is also thought to be haunted by an angry monk, and Balmoral is said to be haunted by Queen Victoria's alleged lover, John Brown. The Sandringham estate also has seen poltergeist activity. Believe in ghosts, Jack?
Of course I believe in ghosts.
Well, scary, top 5 scary
I'm
videos.
the host of Top 5 Scary Videos.
Yeah, any thoughts on King Henry VIII's gout?
He had gout.
Yeah.
Famously.
Famously. Not just
I
a
definitely
disease
don't.
for kings.
Definitely not. I'm not a king.
No, but you are the king of top 5. So good. Another seamless transition.
And coming in at our 4th point of Queen Elizabeth, she has been linked to the Nazis. The Queen's uncle was the infamous King Edward VIII, who famously abdicated, placing the Queen directly in line to the throne. Well, turns out he was a Nazi sympathiser who met with and praised Hitler. According to some very credible rumours, he was in cahoots with the Reich and planned to help them overthrow King George VI in return for a restoration of his power. The Queen was young when the Nazis were in power, and her uncle taught her the Nazi salute, which unfortunately she was actually pictured performing. Her husband was raised in Germany in a pro-Nazi environment, and his sister and her husband joined the Nazi party. Also, believe it or not, a lot of Prince Philip's German relatives were actually not invited to the wedding as a result of the political climate in post-war Europe. Yikes. Would you like to get invited to a royal wedding?
I would love to. I watched some of the royal wedding, the Meghan and Harry one with Danny, and he's not so into it, but I was like, ooh, look at the hats. Next up at number 3, the Queen is on the moon. Wait, what? Did we miss something? We know that she parachuted over London for the Olympics, or did she? But surely we would have heard about her heading to the moon. What's she doing up there? What's her business with the moon? Well, apparently it happened in 1969, and it's not her physically, it's just her voice, but still, it's pretty cool. Prior to the Apollo 11 moon landing, Queen Elizabeth, along with many leaders of the world, recorded messages of goodwill that were sent to the surface of the moon and delivered by Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, and the other one, the spaceman walking on the moon. In her message, she said, "On behalf of the British people, I salute the skill and courage which have brought man to the moon. May this endeavour increase the knowledge and well-being of mankind." Well said, Queenie. Whether or not the Queen would actually go to the moon one day remains to be seen. She is in her 90s, so I imagine it would probably be a bit too much for her. Nonetheless, I'm very for the Queen on the moon. Alright, coming in at number 2, she can't be prosecuted. Queen Elizabeth cannot be prosecuted because she is above the law. The monarch of the United Kingdom has always been above the law, which is perhaps why, historically speaking, some of the old kings and queens of old Blighty have literally gone berserk. Even if you fancy trying to jail the Queen, you literally can't. In Great Britain and internationally, it's against the law to imprison the Queen. That being said, it is possible to overthrow and dethrone a monarch. Once that's happened, or should she abdicate, then she would be subject to prosecution or punishment. Basically, this would be for any crimes that she'd ever committed, even while she was in power. I've saved the #1 spot for you. Are you excited?
You have to.
You have to. You have to.
Spookiest one.
I'm going to stick around for this one.
I think you should.
I think I will.
Remain. Well, at point #1, we have the abducted children. Scary.
Yeah,
In 1964, Queen Elizabeth and her husband, Prince Philip, were on a tour of the Commonwealth in Canada when they visited Kamloops Residential School in British Columbia. The residential schools are already a bone of extreme tension in Canada. They were part of a wider government scheme to quote-unquote civilise Aboriginal children. Shortly after the Queen and Prince Philip visited the school, 50 children went missing. Some conspiracy theorists say that this was directly down to the Crown. William Cobes, a native North American child who went to Kamloops, said that the Queen made his fellow classmates kiss her shoes. Really?
I don't know.
And then her and her husband abducted them.
Again, oof.
Some websites even claim that she was found to have been involved by an independent investigation team looking into the case. Beyond the missing children, thousands of kids were reportedly emotionally, physically and sexually abused by the churches that ran the schools there, and in 2007 the government settled a $1.9 billion lawsuit on the matter.
Seriously, that is really, really, really sad, and obviously we don't want to make light of the fact that 50 children went missing, which is like horrifying, but do I think that it has anything to do with the Queen and Prince Philip? I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
I think that they were just there visiting the Commonwealth, and that's just a sad thing that happened at the same time. I also don't think she's a cannibal.
Yeah, that one's probably out there.
Also a bit, or a lizard. She's probably not a lizard.
I don't know, David Icke. He's
Oh my god, I'd love to have David Icke on this channel.
He's
Can
got
you
a lot of
imagine
fans.
what he had to say? There we go. Well, that was fun. Did you guys enjoy Jack? Are you going to be heading on over to top 5 scary videos?
I hope so.
Why should they?
It's incredibly scary.
And we do like being scared. What's your favourite demon? You did tell me about a good one the other day.
Leonard.
Leonard.
Leonard the Demon.
Okay, well, if you want to learn about Leonard the Demon, then you have to head on over to Top 5 Scary Videos. Also, there is a link to that in the description box, as well as a link to Jack's Instagram and my Instagram. So go follow the lad. He needs some extra fans. If you like this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share with a friend, and stay subscribed to Most Amazing Top 10. High five.
You too.